Good evening, guys, and happy Tuesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I feel like I'm gonna die of heat stroke. It's got up to 80 degrees today. I checked on my phone. It wasn't supposed to get that hot. It was supposed to be only 79 as a high today. But at one point during the day, I actually checked to see if my phone was done charging. And like I slid over to check the battery status, and it also like told me the weather. I wasn't specifically looking that up, but I just sort of, like I said, slid over to check the battery and saw that it's at 80 degrees out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So yeah, it was like 80 degrees. My window was open and I am stinking hot, guys. Like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I actually didn't sleep that bad last night, and I think because it was so warm, I actually like pretty much only slept underneath the sheets with shorts and a tank top on, and like, because I was like, I'm gonna get way too hot if I try and wear like pajama pants, like if I slept with a comforter on me too. So I did, and I actually woke up at like 10 o'clock today and then sort of fell back asleep, and then got up out of bed at like 11. I dozed off a little bit, but I was still sort of awake. So yeah, I didn't have as late of a start to my day as I did yesterday, which I guess was good. But honestly, I feel like I'm not going to get any sort of sleep, like, or sleep very uncomfortably, which is sort of good because that means that I wake up. Like, if I am way too comfortable, then I sleep way too long. And like, I sleep through my alarm clocks, and so I was like, well, if it wakes me up and like I said, I am sleeping and like I am taking the blankets off of me because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just too hot, and it wakes me up at 8 in the morning, I don't mind that. But I'm hoping that, like, honestly, my dad, when he came home from work, like actually later than that, when he got back from like football practice, he was like, oh, do you want me to open your window? And I was like, sure. So my window is currently open. I don't know if you guys can tell, but like, because I think I was telling you guys too, our house is brick. The whole house is brick, so it keeps the heat in really well, which is great for the winter time. Really stinks in the summer when you don't even have your air conditioning turned on yet. And it's not even summer, it's spring, it's stinking April, like, you know. I'm not complaining, but I am a little upset that, like I said, we don't. It's like not even spring weather, because like nice spring weather is like 60s, maybe 70s, like, you know, we can have the windows open and a nice cool breeze. Like during the day, honestly, it wasn't that bad, but you would think that once it gets cool in the rest that, you know, like is cool outside, like I don't know what it is outside right now, but trying to figure that out. Like I said, compared to it being 80 degrees, but there was a nice breeze. Actually, like when I was out in the living room or in the kitchen, because we have a kitchen, it's only 66 right now. Oh, it was 81 as a high today. That's how hot it got. But it's supposed to get down to 57, which still isn't ridiculously cold, and like I should be fine while I'm sleeping. But even with my window open, like there was a little bit of a breeze. It doesn't really seem like there's much of one right now, so that's why like it's gonna stay like this sort of stagnant, like no air is really moving or anything like that. And because the house, again, is retaining the heat, like it's not going to, even having the window open isn't going to help all of that much. So like I said, I don't mind when it's like cooler out and we can open the windows, but when it's this hot, it's like we need air conditioning. And I told you guys too that we just gotten our air conditioner, like the coils or whatever, replaced when we got the furnace replaced in the fall, but we didn't get the outside unit replaced. My dad was like, oh, we'll just wait to do that, because it was like cold, I think, that day that they came to do the furnace anyway. And my dad was like, well, I'll just pay for the part for the inside of the house and then have them do just the outside, so we don't even have to, like, you know, have them, like, if we were to just be like, just do the furnace and then come back and do all the air conditioning, he was like, let's just get the inside stuff for the air conditioning done and then like pay for the outside air conditioning part of it like later. And so like I said, because they had to, like, I think they went into the crawl space too, because that was where it used to be, the old one, but they moved it up into the laundry room now. So anyways, long story short, that is actually not done. So we can't actually run the air conditioning, which we finally got our central air fixed. It's been like years, our central air, because the problem was that the coil that was, like I said, in the crawl space, there was like a problem with it, or it was broken or something like that. So my dad knew that had to be replaced. And so he wanted to do it when he did the furnace, and the furnace we knew was going, like it wasn't working very well, but my dad's like, we can still get another winter out of it. We can still get another winter out of it. And like we kept getting one more winter, and then finally, like I said, we replaced it this year. But you know, so my dad's like, well, then let's also do the air conditioning. So finally now, like, the air conditioning's been out longer than I feel like the furnace wasn't running at peak performance. But there's other issues with the furnace too that we had. Like I was telling you guys too, it was more of the intake that was the problem, because it was so small. Like when they added the second floor to the house, which was before we lived here. The intake used to be in the hallway, and it was huge. Then they added the second floor, and like I said, they added more space to the house, right? You'd expect that the intake would be pretty stinking big. It got smaller and only in one room. Like, it's the size of like a vent compared to what it used to be in the hallway, which is this huge big grate that's probably like 2 feet by like maybe about 1.5 feet or something like that. You know, or maybe closer to 3 feet. No, not 3 feet, probably 2.5 to 1.5 feet maybe, or something like that. And it shrunk down to like the small, like a regular like vent size, which is like 1 foot by like 8 inches or something like that. And so yeah, there was, like I said, other problems with the furnace. That was the bigger one. It wasn't necessarily the furnace was so much the problem, it was more of that. So we knew that there was a lot of other stuff that was going to go into it. Long story short, we don't actually, like I said, have the actual central air outside part of the unit like fixed, because we didn't get that done yet. And we didn't think that in April we were going to need to have it fixed, because we were going to have 80-degree weather outside. I think tomorrow is supposed to be almost just as hot as today as well. But then it's supposed to get, like, it's supposed to rain, I think, by Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. I think it's supposed to rain by like Thursday through maybe Saturday or Sunday, something like that. And then it is supposed to like cool off a little bit. Like, I think it's only supposed to get down like back like 60s, then like 50s, but then get back up into the 60s again by like the start of next week. So we're not like gonna get like really cold weather. I thought that's what it was going to be like over this weekend, but it's actually not going to be that bad. So like I said, it's hot and it's uncomfortable and it's hard to sleep when it's like, I don't even know if you guys can tell too either. I look like I'm like sweating, sort of. Like I'm not, but like my skin looks really like oily. I think it's just because I'm hot. But as I was saying, it's like, you know, we didn't think we were gonna need air conditioning for, you know, the beginning of April. Honestly, like, we've had weird, like, I remember there was a couple of Februaries where we got like 70-degree weather, and it was like, whoa, this is so weird. But like, I mean, like this sort of where it's like not like, oh, we're gonna have like a couple days where it's like 70 or 80 degrees and then it's gonna go back to being 40s. You know, like even in April, like, you know, this seems really weird. It's almost like summer has come way too early, and I'm sort of like, whoa, put the brakes back on. I'm ready for spring still. Because we skipped spring last year because there was a lockdown pandemic, and you know, so that's why I was like, I don't need it to be like 80 degrees out already. That's okay. Like that's why I feel like last year I did miss out on a lot of, like, I mean, I did garden things and outside things, but I feel like I missed out on a lot of like spring things, because at this point last year I think we were still in lockdown, sort of. Maybe, like, I don't think I started going back out to like the grocery stores, which I think was like maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks after we were like officially out of lockdown. But I think that, like I said, it was like maybe sometime around May or June that I actually started like leaving the house again, from the end of like March or beginning of April. Yeah, I guess that's what it was. Like, and I didn't start leaving the house again until, like I said, I think May or June or something like that. So like a lot of, you know, that like springtime I feel like I really missed, because like I remember last March it was still really cold by the time we actually went into lockdown, and then it started, like I remember, like I said, there was a couple days where I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even been outside in like 2 weeks. And I finally went outside and like did some yard work and was like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to be outside, and like I could hear neighbors like talking and stuff like that. I was like, I don't feel like I'm alone in the universe anymore, because that's kind of how it felt like when you're locked in the house. It is nice now though. We're starting to, like I said, be able to go to football games and like, you know, still socially distance from people and wear masks and all that kind of stuff, but still like be somewhat around people, enjoying in the same sort of like common thing as well, like watching the high school football game, you know, get to see Jack play and stuff like that, like being around that atmosphere without necessarily being able to be next to people or, you know, sitting next to people and, you know, all that kind of stuff, but still being able to sort of be in the same atmosphere with people is really cool, because like I said, at this point last year we weren't able to do any of that stuff. There wasn't even sports on television. You couldn't even watch anything. There was no hockey or baseball or basketball, like none of that stuff was on at this point last year, so it is really neat. And you know, like, and even baseball too, they actually like I know that the Chicago teams are able to have 30 or something percent capacity, or 25% or something like that, but they are able to have fans in the stands. So that's really cool. And again too, I know that our high school is allowing, I think it's 4 fans for home games and I think 2 for away games, but I will have to actually see about this Friday's game, only because the school we're going to play at, I think they have the home and away fans sit on the same side. Like they don't have separate bleachers for them. So I'm sort of wondering if there is going to be something like, I thought they were supposed to add away stands. That was the first year they just redone the field, or like just put in a field that year that I went, which was like maybe 3 years ago, I think. And I thought I heard somebody saying like, oh, they're supposed to add like away seats as well, but like I know, because again, obviously you're supposed to be socially distancing and everything like that, but also to like mixing like fans from one team and another team, you know, like it's not like, oh well, you know, like we're sitting with the same people that we probably see at the grocery stores, we probably see, like, you know, not that it's that big of a deal, but you know, like I don't know, it just, I'm wondering if there is also too, like, how do you count that? Because you can't be like, oh, if you're an away fan, like you can get tickets, but if home fans would probably have like, you know, first rights to be able to be there before the away fans get the chance to. So that's why I'm also wondering too, like, are they going to give out tickets? Because that was the first away team, was that Jack got tickets, but my mom might not be able to, like, we might not be able to go because my mom might not be able to go. And on top of that too, I think I told you guys, it is supposed to rain this weekend, which I totally don't mind, but if my mom's already not feeling good, I don't know that going to a rainy football game is going to be best. And since it's an away game too, I don't really want to go by myself either. So like last week, they actually, our school is streaming the football games, so I'm sort of wondering if the other school will be streaming these games as well, and or if we can find out if they are, which would be really cool. They did it even for the JV, like the freshman sophomore team, which is what Jack plays on. Our home team did last week, so I'm sort of wondering if they'll do it maybe for the away games, because like those are the ones that I feel like we then, you know, either don't get to go to or not as many people get to go to. Like I said, we only had 2 tickets, so like if my dad and Matthew weren't coaching, it'd probably be my mom and dad that get to go. Me and Matthew don't get to go, you know, to the game, because they would probably take the tickets over us. But you know, it's lucky that it's only 2 people anyway, me and my mom, that are going, since my dad and Matthew are already there because they're coaches, and Jack plays, so 5 of us still are able to go. But like I said, you know, I don't know how this home team is good, because I think their stands are even smaller too, so again, I don't know where, like I said, they get the, you know, like who gets first rights, if it would be home fans and then just they don't have away fans that are able to go to the game or whatever. So that would stink, but you know, like I said, it might, like, I don't know. We have to figure out what they're gonna do. I'm already sort of like, my forethought is sort of like we might not actually be able to go to this week's game, but we should be able to go to the last, I think, actually maybe there's only 2 games, or I think there's supposed to be another 2 games after that. However, I thought I heard one of them, like they didn't have a freshman sophomore team, so they were just gonna like not do a game. I don't know if they found anybody else, maybe if they can be like, hey, can we play you guys or whatever, you know, like organized it so that they can still get a 6th game for the season. But if that's the case, then they only have 1 other home game, and I know we should be able to go to that one, possibly 2, but like I said, I don't know how that's going to look, so we will see, guys. I will let you guys know obviously later in the week, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go take a nice cool shower hopefully, so that I'm not too hot and I can go to bed and it not be like, you know, not feel quite as warm while I'm in here, because like I said, it's ridiculously sort of hot. The good thing is that it's not like that humid hot right now where it's like, oh my gosh, and on top of that I feel sticky. Like, you know, I'm thankful for that. If it's hot, at least it's like this sort of, and not, that's a really bad part. That is when you really need air conditioning, because opening up the windows does nothing. It just lets all the humidity in still. So yeah, at least it's not like that. Like I said, it's nice actually, and it's been nice in the house when there's a breeze, but like now that it's so late and I got my window open so late, I got none of that real cool air sort of circulating, so it's sort of just stagnant, and the house is hot because again, brick and all that. And so yeah, like I said, I'm gonna take a shower, get to bed. I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big ol' thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you subscribe, and I'll see y'all very sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.